You're listening to Time to Lean, and here's a song already in progress. Episode 87 features John and Phil with special guests Liz K, Jen K, Rob K, Meghan K, and KK. John and Phil explore a new school arising from the swamp in Rapid City, South Dakota. The new South Middle School.
Oh, God. We should just start over.
Let's.
And now.
Okay, now we can say
now the real
what's
show.
Appropriate. And now back to the show.
Welcome, everyone, to Time to Lean, and here's the song, episode 87.
The boys are getting a little loose with the format here tonight. Matt P is going to write a letter. Yes, this is episode 87. It's been established. And John and Phil have some special guests. I'm your narrator, Ed Uncle Hat. Enjoy.
Yeah, this is going to be...
That's all
I don't know. So we were invited, John and I, to Rapid City, South Dakota. Our flights weren't paid for, but that was okay. They were very inexpensive. But we were invited to view South Middle School. It was South Junior High when I went there. John never went there. I don't know why he's on this episode. No, I'm kidding. But we went to visit the old school, which they're building a new school next door, and they're going to tear down the old school afterwards, I guess. So they don't stop teaching there in Rapid City. You can't just move all the kids, bust them over to North Middle School or something. There's no room in there either. So we got there, and now we're going to talk about South Junior High mostly. This is kind of a nostalgia episode, one of those we do periodically, and we've this introduction sucks.
And now back to the show.
Where's the sound man? We don't need the theme song every time Rob says, and now back to the show. And now back to the show.
Okay, let me...
and now the show.
Because we have routines around here, these parts. Phil, what are you drinking?
All right.
People will be disappointed, especially the ones who don't give a shit about South Junior High.
Well,
will want to at least know what we're drinking.
Now this is an interesting episode because I think we're going to have some listeners that don't know the routines because this has gotten a little traction on the Rapid City area there. The 100 years of Rapid City Schools Centennial Celebration, October 8th at 2 p.m., Rapid City High School. Anyway, they might want to link to this episode. And also, the people there at Skull Construction or School Construction, I don't know. Is it Skull, Elizabeth?
It's Skull, yes.
Yeah. But they're building a school, so it's like the Skull School.
Yep, exactly.
So they might want to skip to the end of the, fast forward a little bit here. I was going to talk about we had this tour.
Alcohol indulgences.
I don't know. I feel kind of bad for them.
It's okay, they expect it. Because
we're probably with the flow that we normally do. The construction stuff will be at the end, but you can skip. That's fine. We're not upset. What am I drinking? Okay, I've been talking a lot. Blacktooth Brewing from Sheridan, Wyoming, an amber ale. I brought this back in a Bomber Mountain amber ale. I brought this back from, I bought it in Hill City, South Dakota. It says, Drink the West, Amber Ale. I like amber ales. And this is a pretty good one. I don't know. It says that you can, the flavors present in the medium-bodied Irish style red ale. There you go.
There's beer in them. They're hills.
What's Jen drinking? Arsenic? No.
Oh, Jen is drinking mom water.
Mom water?
Specifically, the Julie flavored mom water that is passion fruit.
So this is something your mom drinks, or it's a
That's
slang?
the name of it.
It's a
It's
slang
for
or something? It's called mom water?
It's called mom water, yeah.
Oh.
Is it spiked?
Spiked with vodka.
It's
okay.
not like Mother's
Vodka.
Little Helper, right?
Yeah. Well, it should have amphetamines in it and get that house clean.
Exactly. Got all the good stuff.
Or just get a husband that cleans. Okay.
What?
What's Liz drinking?
Oh, I am drinking. Well, you get two guesses what I'm drinking.
Oh,
gentlemen.
tequila. Oh,
There
a
is
margarita?
tequila in it. I am, yes. It's a spicy margarita.
Spicy.
Yep.
Like, so you got a little Cajun rim thing going?
No, I don't do the rims anymore.
Yeah.
No? Yeah, I stopped doing rims when I was a kid. I mean, when I was a teenager. No, in college.
Just stop.
No, we're done with the,
In college.
not doing rims anymore.
No, actually, I didn't start till I was 40, to be honest. Okay, so Rob, what are you drinking?
Well, I was drinking a boxed Chardonnay, but something was wrong with it. It was corked. It was, but that's not possible because it wasn't in a bottle with a cork.
It was boxed?
But it was bad, and I didn't have time because I'm prompt. I didn't have time to grab another drink, so I'm drinkless at the moment.
What?
Oh, that's
Sad.
like being pantsless on this show.
Wait,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to be pantsless?
Well, I don't judge. No, I think whatever makes you the most comfortable.
I thought
Yeah.
that. Okay. I misunderstood the rules.
We can't see each other, so it doesn't.
Exactly.
That's
So
fine.
Rob doesn't have a drink? That's
Yeah,
go,
drink.
Rob, go get a drink.
not okay, Rob.
Just mute
All right,
your
I'm gonna
mic
go get a
and
drink,
go ahead.
guys.
Okay.
Okay,
Be right
here's
back.
the Rob's
Okay.
getting a drink song. But my guitar's not tuned. Okay, feel free to sing along. Ouch. Rob's getting a drink. We all got time to think. My husband didn't clean my house, so it's starting to stink. Rob's getting a drink.
That's better than most of our real songs.
That was good, Phil. Was that just on the spot? That was awesome. So
How would I prepare that?
I have to ask, while we're waiting for Robbie, why did you assume that my house would be a mess? Did I say that my house is a mess, or
No, I
you were
overheard.
surprised it was clean?
No. I overheard a conversation between you and Paul K, friend of the show. I think when we were at that
Who's
Yes.
that?
the Windsor block,
Oh,
and I
you're
think
talking
somebody.
about my husband?
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah.
asked.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that
gave
Paul
him
K.
my last name.
No, not Paul K. Paul S.
That's okay.
Why didn't he take your last name? He should have.
Right?
He's cleaning the house and he's like so handpicked. No, but no, I think you mentioned somebody was asking or mentioning that you had plenty of time today to clean the house for the party or something. I overheard
That would have been Carol.
K.
Carol.
Carol K, not the bass player from the
No,
Wrecking
not
Crew.
Carol K. Carol R. Also a friend of the show. I think.
Oh, is she?
I don't know.
Carol
If not,
R.
She should be.
I think we're
Okay.
going to have to start using last names. I'm getting confused.
Yeah, this is really get out of control.
Oh, this episode's going to be 20 hours long.
And now back to the show.
Already in progress.
Well,
Isn't
Rob, you
that
missed
why you
it.
guys can edit, right? You edit all this stuff
Yeah,
out.
we
All
don't.
this
We
nonsense.
don't like to edit.
You'd
That's
be
an
shocked how
inside
much
joke.
editing we actually do.
It's an
Let's
inside
get
joke.
to the meat then.
But you're like a vegan, aren't you?
Okay, Rob, what did you bring back to drink?
I grabbed the first bottle I could find, which was Sagamore Rye, just a Maryland rye. Maryland is where rye was invented.
I think you had that on the show last time, didn't you?
I know. I have no new material to offer.
Oh, we're going to talk about South Junior High now, which is not necessarily new material either. But
Definitely not new material.
I have an anecdote. If you want to
Let's
start
go.
with that, or if you want to start with the construction
no, we'll.
site.
Oh,
We
I
could
better
do-
say what I'm drinking too.
Oh, John.
Okay,
We'll
I'll
just
be
do the
quick, though.
construction people later, and they can fast forward.
Yeah, fast
Fine.
forward.
We're gonna go in
I
sequence.
was going to make a mint julep because in honor of South, the rebels,
The rebels?
and all that stuff. But I was too lazy and I didn't do that. So I am drinking a bourbon from Barrel Bourbon. It's a cask strength. It's good stuff.
Barrel bourbon.
Yeah, it's the most generic.
I was going to say old bourbons are from barrels.
Yeah. They're one of those companies that blends a lot of different bourbons together from different
Oh, like
places.
High West or something.
They're a little bit like High West. Yep. This is a cask strength 5-year-old.
They're Southwest.
Who knows where it came from, but it's very tasty.
Well, South Junior High thanks you.
We're putting the South back in South
Rob,
Junior High.
on with your preamble.
So this is a story about my first days at South Junior High as Robbie Knowles, and that's what I was called back then. And I had a tormentor. His name was Mike Christ, but it was spelled like Christ. So
They're the worst.
but he wasn't very Christ-like to me. It started at Bible camp or a church camp a few weeks before I started 7th grade at South, and he just decided he picked me out to be his target, and he would start pulling all these pranks on me. He put ketchup in my hot cocoa. He laughed at me, and then the first day I showed up at South, and one of the first people I saw was Mike Christ, not Mike Christ, Mike Christ, and he immediately just broke into this smile. I think he was a 9th grader at that time, and just like, I'm gonna get you. It's gonna be even worse than the ketchup. And so the first thing he did is he came up behind me when I was climbing that staircase. Remember the staircase? So 9th graders would do this as a hazing. They would come up behind you and you'd be carrying, I carried all of my books to every class because I was worried that if I went to my locker and I only took some books, that I'd take the wrong books because I have ADHD. I didn't know it at the time, but so this was a strategy. I just carried all the books that I would need for the whole day with me.
Or that your half brother would push you into a locker, but that's different.
That's another anecdote which we can get into. So he comes up behind me and just smacks the books out of my hand, and they go cascading down that staircase all the way to the bottom.
That's a long way down. Were you late for class?
I mean, I don't remember. I only remember that moment.
Is that, Rob? Can I just say I appreciate you using the term staircase because that makes it sound like it's like Hogwarts or something. I don't think people use staircase very often when they're.
Well, what do they call them now?
Stairs.
Oh, stairs.
But
Staircase makes it sound very. It also reminds me of like a really great 80s movie where you're getting bullied. So this is going to be broadcast, though. Is this Christ person, Christ? Is he going to be?
We should have said just the last initial.
Yeah,
but you know what?
But his last name is so significant. I doubt that he's.
You don't know that
he's a listener. If he is, then maybe I'll get an apology finally. But
you're waiting for an apology.
No, well, so I have to say that he kind of warmed to me over the course of that year, and he eventually all he did was if I were talking to a girl, he would say, when are you gonna whatever, and that was kind of so he sort
When are
of
you
like,
gonna whatever? Like going for a second base?
well, I'm trying to keep it clean for the bigger audience, but
Oh,
when are
I
you
don't
guys
know if
gonna
that's.
bonk?
I'm not going to be able to stay clean the whole time, and
When
people,
you guys
if
gonna
people are
bang
offended,
bonk?
I'm sorry, but
Uh,
okay.
yeah. Okay. So, all right. Who's next?
No, I just, yeah. I mean, normally we
Wait,
just
that's
use
it?
last initials. There,
Is that disappointing?
no, it isn't because he was a very Christ-like figure, and I think that, or an antichrist. So I think that was
The
important. You
Antichrist.
had to use his real name. Yeah, but those stairs were really high. I mean, if you dropped a book, I mean, it would go down for
Phil,
4
did they
stories.
change? Did they kind of change direction and all that, like the Hogwarts one?
They wound. Yeah, they would.
No, it's because they weren't very stable, so they moved around when you walked on them.
Exactly.
Well, so does anyone have a? This is interesting. Well, one of the things I want to talk about is some of you were taught by relatives. That seems weird to me, but okay, maybe we could talk about that later. But I have a lot of comments from the interwebs. So what I did is I posted on the. I'm not going to read them all right now. I'll intersperse them. Yeah. And I did a Google form. I learned how to do that at work, so I applied some work things to our podcast. And there's a Rapid City kind of nostalgia page, which I've never thought of linking to before. We used to always talk about Rapid City nostalgia. We're not very good at promoting. Maybe we have some new listeners, and I hope you're not too disappointed now that you're probably not still here. But okay, so Jeannie. I'm going to say D, but her maiden name started with an H. She attended South Junior High, 1983 through, and then it cuts off there.
She is also, Phil, my boss.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That
No,
is
I know who this
Jeannie
is.
that you guys met her when you took the tour, Jeannie Deming. Or sorry.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
you
I
just
did.
doxed her then. Yeah.
No, she was very nice. She let us come into South Junior Middle School, the old branch, and then we got to see what the new construction. But anyway, she says, so one of the questions I asked was, what was your fondest memory? She loved older teachers, especially. So I have so many amazing memories from South Junior High. See, I wanted to get some positive ones because I don't have any. My dream job was to come back and teach with Mr. Bustler and Mr. Dolan in PE. I was fortunate enough to do that. It would be better in her voice if she recorded this, but she didn't. I always teased those two because I then became their boss. I was a student for Mr. Gross, Mr. Holloway, and Mr. Resin. Well, we're using real names here. I'll try not to, and because later on there's some questionable comments that maybe I won't even say about different teachers and paddles. And then I became their co-worker. A fond memory I have as an adult is working on the new building. It's been a process, but it's been so much fun. What are some other good memories or favorite teachers some people have? Okay.
Oh, are you asking?
Or anyone. John wasn't there, so he can't answer. He went. Where did you go to high school, junior high, John? You went to.
I went to. I was shipped off to Dakota.
You were. What do they call that when parents teach their kids?
Bad ideas. I don't know.
Oh, homeschool. Thank you.
Indoctrination.
Yes,
oh.
yes.
Oops. Now wait. Some of you were taught by your family, so hey, come on.
For some reason, my parents thought I needed to go there.
If anybody thinks that the Knowles kids were not indoctrinated, then
hey, I never said they weren't.
We totally were indoctrinated, but it turned out fine. So,
Jen, what do you think about that? She's got the knives.
Jen,
she doesn't want to be part of this.
Did you feel indoctrinated into the? She became a nurse, so she's
God bless her,
yeah.
or somebody bless her, a higher power. Jen, do you have a favorite memory of South Junior High, or was it South Junior High then?
Yeah,
You're not
I
that
don't
much
think
younger
I
than
could
me.
participate. It was South Middle School when I went.
Oh, okay, but closer to the mic, and I'll edit that out. Is Elizabeth hogging it?
No, she just so
She won't say anything. She's like on the Marx Brothers. She's like Harpo
I know she's
of the Knowleses.
she's definitely the smartest of us all. But so here's what I'm
Yeah.
going to say about middle school / junior high in general. I think it's tough for people to come up with good memories because that time of your life is so awful that even if you have a good experience, it's a bad experience. So we're all like, what was your favorite memory? Well, it was just a bunch of crap because being that age just sucks. So I think we can talk about that and be all right with that.
Some of these people had, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say some of these comments where it was the best time of my life kind of
No.
things. But there were some positive comments. I'm trying to think of any. I can't offhand. It just seemed like a weird sort of purgatory. It wasn't hell, but
It's purgatory is a very good way to put it. So I've been a middle school teacher my entire career. What I can
Oh,
say
my
is
God.
I know how awful it is for kids, and us middle school teachers just try to keep the damage to a minimum. We know it's going to be bad. It's going to be awful. We're just trying to, and I think when they get to high school, for most of them, it gets a lot better. And
The other thing is that when we went to junior high, we went from 6th grade in elementary school where we had one teacher and we were in this, that environment. And then we went directly into 7th grade where every class is in a different room. And I mean, I carried all my books because I didn't know what I was doing. It was so overwhelming.
yeah.
And
there was no transition.
There was no
There wasn't like
transition,
you
yeah.
go there and they say, "Oh, here's what to expect." With my kids going through the transition, it was hours. They'd say, "Okay, now here's your locker," and they went through everything. We were just thrown in, and they said, "Here's."
Yeah,
and
today's kids are
sometimes you
coddled.
might get spanked. That was just a thing.
I don't know about the spanking. I don't think that was a thing, was it?
there was the paddle, but
Yeah.
Was there
There
really
wa-
a paddle that wasn't just made up?
No, and several people have commented. We're going to save the paddle till maybe after the talking about
Interesting.
construction.
Okay.
Yeah, and I there was a lady that commented. She went to that place during during the '60s, and there was a different instructor or person at the lunch area that had a paddle in the '60s. So maybe I'll talk about. I don't know. I don't want to spend the whole episode. Maybe the paddle will be like a special edition.
the funny thing is, I always, when I think about South, I think mostly of bad things, or just things that were not horrible, but just things like Mike Christ. Sorry, Mike.
I hope he's listening, Rob.
Smacking my books down the stairs. But now that I've heard one positive memory, I'm thinking of the English teachers I had who were, and I can only remember the name of one of them. It was Mrs. Heyer, I think, and she showed us the Hitchcock movie Vertigo.
What?
Yeah, and I remember being blown away. Like, she talked about it, as a piece, as a work to study. She talked about the techniques that Hitchcock was using, and so they were very, very good teachers. They were really. I learned tons from them.
Some of the good comments. Sorry, keep going.
No, go ahead.
Some of the good comments were not necessarily. Some people had good memories attached to something I didn't, which was interesting, like the school lunch thing. which I can't find offhand, so we'll edit this out. Yes. So,
Yeah.
so anyway, some other good comments were Tamara W. said she went to 1990, 1994. Another interesting thing when I said years you attended, sometimes people said 3, sometimes people said the years, and sometimes people did something else. I don't know. That was interesting, but okay. I was not very specific. I did the form very quickly, I will admit. Choir class was the best. Tamara W. Choir class was the best, doing all the oldie songs, all the oldie songs. That's a hard thing to say after I've switched to bourbon, so excuse me, everyone. Cindy S. Maiden name probably was R. Going outside in the courtyard at lunch, hanging out by the flagpole before school. Oh, I remember that. I remember hanging out. They wouldn't let us in right away. Spring dance, we would have different talent shows. Oh, this is Sherry Overby. We'd have different talent shows. So much fun. Good friends. I remember the talent shows. That was fun. This is a fond memory of Sharon M.S. She went there. Oh, yeah. So some people would say 7th, 8th, and 9th. I don't know. Grades. Sharon M.S. was 1980, 1983. Math teacher that threw erasers. This is her fond memory. And Mr. Ferris. Oops. Okay, well, whatever. I'm going to say Mr. Ferris. He's dead. The class and his paddle. That was a fond memory? Sharon. Shannon.
Little Stockholm syndrome going on here.
I think so. Okay.
Can somebody explain the Ferris's paddle? I don't know what that means.
Okay, so Mr. Ferris was a social studies teacher, I believe. And I think I had him my first year at South. Did any of you have Mr. Ferris? I think by the time you were there, he was the assistant principal.
Yeah, I didn't have Mr. Ferris, no.
Okay. No, but he had a paddle. And so if something happened, I don't know, if you turned your homework in, I think he almost had almost any excuse. Now, I'm going to get a little negative here, but I think he kind of digged this. But, and if any of Mr. Ferris's family is listening to this, we'll talk later if you're upset. But he had this paddle. And so if you brought your homework in late or you caused some kind of disruption, it was almost like the most minor infractions. Oh, he'd bring that paddle out and he'd give you a choice. So you would either have to do something or you'd get hit with this paddle.
Was it like wash his car or something like that?
No, it was like I think you had to. It was something he didn't want you to do, like stay after class or something. I don't know, or stay after school. So it was a pretty long paddle. Actually, Jenny DH is still evidently hung on some kind of wall or something. Maybe they'll tear that down. Oh, you burn down the paddle. That's all I'm going to say.
The paddle is still in existence?
Yeah, it's on a wall somewhere.
Really?
It's kind of strange.
That is strange. I'm going to investigate that further.
So have we established for the audience that Elizabeth K., one of the guests, currently teaches at South Middle School?
And I'm also a client.
And that Robbie K. is a lawyer?
Who is...
Yeah.
No, I mean, you have a law degree, but you're a teacher.
Oh, yeah, I do in practice. I
never practiced.
Those who can't do teach. So
I didn't want to get into the paddle right now, but there were quite a few comments about the paddle.
Let's hear some more. Let's get some more texture for the paddle.
Well, I'm trying to remember the time that I had to make a choice, and I don't even remember what I chose. Well, then you had to choose how many that you got. This is weird. So, because it got to kind of be some of the guys would like, I'm going to take 11, or they'll come up with a number, and my memory may be altered. It was a long time ago. I think I was talking to Kelly Holter or something, and I got in trouble. And I think I chose the other thing. I don't know what the other choice was. I think I had to put my fingers in the fear box or the pain box.
Death or Chi-Chi?
Yeah, I think I had to. No, I didn't do Chi-Chi.
And
I would
Sorry,
definitely
I'll
do
cut that
paddle
out.
versus Chi-Chi.
But first, a little Chi-Chi.
I have to put my glasses on.
Bruce will
So this is
appreciate
sorry. We'll cut this part out. We always say. Sherry Overby. Now this is earlier. I don't think this was Mr. Ferris, but we had a teacher. So the paddle, maybe Mr. Ferris inherited the paddle. We had a teacher in study hall that would pull your hair up if you made a sound and use the paddle on you on stage unless you were a girl. It was behind the curtain because we had to wear dresses or skirts and you had to bend over. Never liked him. I don't know his name, but anyone in the late 60s would know who I'm talking about. Maybe we should edit all this. This is getting really dark.
This is not a good nostalgia episode, Phil.
All I'm going to say again, guys, middle school, junior high, all dark. It's all darkness. Proceed.
It is awful. Yeah.
which I think is why the teachers actually can have the biggest impact in middle school, because
That's a
you
very
really
good point.
can.
Especially if they have a paddle.
Yes,
No.
if they have a paddle, if they
No,
have
if they're a good teacher like
yeah.
Elizabeth is, I'm sure man, I would love to have a teacher like Elizabeth. Back then. I'm not saying now. I don't know.
You haven't seen my paddles.
Oh, no. Well, that's...
I was going to share a story
Go
that
ahead.
is not my own experience, but the experience of a trusted confidant who attended South Junior High the same years as you, Philip H. And so I think the story is true. I think the source is pretty credible. So there was a shop teacher. It was called shop it was like shop 1, wasn't it? Shop 1, shop 2.
I didn't take any of those things,
No,
so I don't
think it
know.
Or
was
industrial arts?
Industrial arts, that's right.
Yeah.
There was an industrial arts teacher who was.
I took typing.
You took typing instead. I found some other way to get out of it. I don't know.
Lathing. Yeah.
Lathing, yeah. I took advanced. I took.
Are you
blast
talking about
furnace.
Mr. Preneur?
I'm talking. Oh, we're going to use names. Okay, so this is.
Can we?
Were
I think
you
he's
there?
dead
Were you
too.
present for this episode
We already have.
involving Mr. Penor?
I just heard about Mr. Preneur, but you go ahead.
So, what did you hear about Mr. Penor? Let's establish that first.
Well, he was missing a finger.
He was just
He has a line of sparkling water.
He was a rail thin elderly gentleman.
Tall.
Kind of looked like a rancher.
Yeah,
maybe he
yeah.
was a rancher. He was,
And he had to point with his middle finger because I think he was missing his index one.
yeah. So I also had a rep for being very cranky and just, like you would expect a shop teacher of that generation to be, just really.
We're just making
Ornery.
a fucking metal box, kids.
Yeah. So what happened is the kids in the class, or somebody, a bold person, decided to play a prank on Mr. Penor and put a thumbtack on Mr. Penor's chair when he was out.
No.
And everyone watched as Mr. Penor came back in and sat down in his chair right on that thumbtack. And then everyone's waiting for the reaction and nothing happens. And then Mr. Penor stands up and turns around and everyone sees that Mr. Penor had his wallet in his back pocket of his pants and that the thumbtack had gone directly into his wallet and not injured him in any way. And so everyone was just like let out this big sigh of relief. That's the story.
Oh, that reminds me of
That's a
that
good
scene
one.
in Mr. Oppenheimer where he was going to poison the apple.
Mr. Oppenheimer, are you talking about?
Oppenheimer?
Robert Oppenheimer.
like from the movie we all just saw? Okay. Got it.
His teacher, professor.
That reminds me very little of a scene from a movie. Thanks.
So, if there are any listeners out there who were there present for this event that's become legendary, you were in Mr. Penor's industrial arts class. Maybe you remember this. Maybe this is just an apocryphal story. Maybe this never really happened.
No,
I believe it happened.
I've heard this story too. I just remember he had to always point with his middle finger. He was always,
Yeah.
was like, oh, he's flipping me off, but he wasn't, because I would be in the hallway for no reason. And yeah, my gig was in between class breaks. I sold candy because there was a Mr. Renfer's market. That's a whole other story that I probably talked about Mr. Renfer before. He was always smoking.
Wasn't he on Mr. Rogers? No.
Oh, this
Sesame
guy would
Street
not
or-
be on Mr. Rogers or Sesame Street
Okay.
because he was smoking.
Mr. Hoopler. Yeah.
But I'd get this. I'd buy a bunch of candy and I'd sell it out of my locker in between classes and mark it up a little bit. And somebody commented. I don't know if it was a student or a teacher that figured it out, but they asked if I was Jewish, and I thought that was a little odd. I'm getting a little dark tonight,
Oi.
folks. I'm getting a little dark. Oh wait.
Are you by any chance Jewish, Phil?
I did have no. Never
No,
mind.
that's not what people sound like in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Is there a Rapid City accent? We got to sound like Tom Brokaw.
Are you by any
Wasn't he from East River, though?
Oh, that doesn't count.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, favorite teachers. I had a. I'm really negative, but I had this teacher, Mrs. Ann, or Ms. Ann. I don't know what she was, but I think it was an English teacher. She also taught Spanish, and I may have told this story on the podcast before, but the first I almost said episode, but the first class, she talked about weeds, and weeds were undesirable plants, and but that people could also be weeds. I mean, I don't know if she was, I don't know where she was from, but she got into this thing, and I was like, she was talking about this for a whole hour. That was the first class, and then we left. And I was like, I'm a weed. So that was weird. So I decided not to take. I was going to take Spanish, but she was the teacher. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to take Spanish with her. As soon as I get out of this class, I'm done. But I sat through it for the whole year, and she, the main project was doing. She loved mythology, Greek mythology, and that kind of thing. So we had to make our own mythology, and I don't know. I was feeling kind of. I was a weird kid, but I did different things like herpes, the god of disease, and she thought I needed. She had in the red with the red pen. She wrote that I might need some therapy. She said, take this to your parents. They need to read this.
Did you take it to your parents?
I took it to my dad, not my mom. And my dad was like, well, you have kind of a college sense of humor. And we won't let your mom see this.
Hey, Phil, back
Yeah.
up.
What?
Did you say you came up with herpes, the god of disease? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that was pretty cool,
Oh.
I thought.
It's-
She thought I needed...
no, I think it's great.
Well, but you're a different kind of middle school teacher. She thought I needed therapy. And I probably did. I probably could have benefited from therapy. No, there was other things. I don't remember the rest of the mythology, but I wrote pages and pages of kind of weird stuff. I think I upset her, and I probably meant to, because I was a weed.
I mean, it's like that. Her class sounds so intolerable that I feel like I would have done the same. I would have tried to invent some offensive cosmology just to strike back at her, you know?
I think I did that, but that wasn't my normal motif at the time. But no, I was going to be a pastor back then. Whatever. That's a different episode.
So you were Christ. You were,
No, I never.
You,
Rob, this Christ guy is going to come to get you. You know that, right?
no, we ended up on pretty good terms.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Now
Things
you can
got
laugh
better.
about it. Right?
What about the lunchroom, though?
that was another environment where I was just overwhelmed. coming from elementary school, where I looked and I
Yeah.
saw there's a menu and stuff you have to figure out what to buy, and it was just, and they had served Mexican zombies.
I was
Remember
about
that?
to ask if that was the first time you had a Mexican zombie. 'Cause we had those at Dakota as well.
No, it was just really, just getting thrown into that environment was really, I don't know, tough, I guess. I don't know. So at South Middle School, the cafeteria was right next to the courtyard. So the school has a courtyard in the middle of it. And I I never thought of the courtyard as being especially inviting, but I know that
Some
it
people did.
had
It's
the
like
potential
a
to be.
prison
Yeah.
yard, right?
It
I
was,
think-
but some of these comments, they loved the courtyard, and one of the people said they hope that the new school will I think they want them to actually take that courtyard and put it into this is an older person, but fine. Sorry, Rob.
No, and just transport it to the new school so they can,
Yeah.
so that the new students can have that courtyard.
FYI, the courtyard is where everybody goes to get the crap beat out of them.
That was the way it was when I was
Yep.
there.
So let's not bring back the courtyard.
Let's
I mean,
all bring back.
I'm sure they'll find
courtyard.
somewhere else to beat the
Another
crap
song.
out of each other.
No, some people love
in
that
fresh
thing.
air.
Okay, here's a lunchroom comment by Heidi C. Oh wait, her last name's Clapham. That sounds familiar. Okay, I loved when Mr. Bustler, Mr. Gross, Mr. Powell, and Mr. Hershoff would sit on stage chatting it up, supervising us, quote unquote, and every now and then trying to humiliate anyone they could. They sure loved the students. It was great. I'm not reading this in the voice she would. That's fine. When we got special guests like Mr. West and Mr. Clapham, aka my dad. Oh, okay. Lunch was always a great time. They would pass out Valentine flowers, tell jokes, call somebody out for messing up, wish they would do things today. They really built a bridge between teachers and students. But I didn't have that experience. I was on edge. I was on eggshells. I was like, well, first off, I'd go to the line and I had a different color card because I was low income. And, everyone's got this other card and I got this card. But no, actually, if I remember correctly, there were a lot of people that had the low income card. It was it was Jimmy Carter's era. So, we all had that low income card. But I don't know. I just remember being on, if you did anything wrong, you were called out, But this person had she thought that was fun, and it built a bridge.
No, I think that group of teachers, they were all really nice guys. I mean, they were not sadists or anything like that. They weren't even,
Except for maybe Mr. One of them.
I think I had Mr. Gross for government, I think, and he was a really good teacher. He had us do a unit on the Soviet Union. I remember that. It's like, it's really important that you know about the Soviet Union. That was pretty cool.
I really loved Mr. Gross as well. Jen and I were just talking about this while I was on mute.
They're recording their own podcasts on the side during the recording of this one.
Mr. Gross, even though he used to call me lizard breath, which was
Classic
mean,
one.
but also felt kind of endearing at the time. He was a great teacher. He also used to stick me behind the map as a punishment. Did you guys go behind the map in Mr. Gross's class?
No, we had to get whipped or spanked or we had to put our hands in acid.
I just had to sit behind the map, which
You had to sit behind a map?
yeah, he had like a map, and if you were
world map?
bad, if you were bad in class, you had to go sit behind it. Now with our seclusion and restraining training, we would probably get in trouble for putting kids behind the map, but
Probably.
probably
Would you get in trouble for hitting them with a paddle?
No, that's okay.
Although my husband, who is in law enforcement, told me that it's actually legal in South Dakota for you to use force against your students. It's just not. So you would get fired, but not prosecuted.
It's
legally.
frowned upon.
That's what he learned at. Good to know. Yeah. So I can beat my students, but I will probably get fired, just not prosecuted legally. So
That's
as
reassuring.
soon as I win the lottery, I can just take that paddle out and just.
Bronze it.
Just kidding. I would never do that.
So, okay, I'm going to go back to sheet metal, industrial arts class. Brad H. 1975, 1978. This is one of his fondest memories, folks. This was the 70s, so we have to put it in South Dakota, so we have to put it in some context. Accidentally cutting my arm on sheet metal in industrial arts class. And Principal Keith Coates bandaged it up for me. I can't say bandages because I've had some bourbon. Great guy. Okay, so Keith Coates was my principal at Central. And the other thing was, in the 70s, evidently the principals were kind of like in triage. So there you go.
So Keith Coates graduated from South Junior High to Central as principal, or he just moved, whatever. He's not. And then he was also the nurse.
Well, I think it was more of like the front lines triage kind of.
It was like he was like a MASH unit.
Yeah, he was his own MASH unit.
Yeah.
But also Brad H. said the food was mediocre at best. I don't know. Okay. His favorite subject was social studies.
That was before the zombie was invented, though.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah, pre-zombie. Yeah, it wasn't good.
He got the Mr. Ferris paddle because he didn't turn an assignment in on time. Okay. I was going to ask. I asked everybody what their feelings were about the new construction, and he said, "I haven't lived in South Dakota for over 30 years, so I don't know what it looks like now." Liz, what are some of the issues with the old building? Why did they have to replace it? One of these people said, "I wish they wouldn't have replaced it. I like the old school. We don't need a new school."
Who said that? Give me their name, address, phone number.
I didn't keep all that.
Ready to come for them.
A team? No, I didn't keep all that.
Well, probably they remember it from the condition 30 years ago.
That's probably somebody who didn't want to vote for the bond issue. So originally there was a bond issue that when they were trying to build the new South Middle School. So this has been going on ever since I first started there 15 years ago. They've been trying to build a new building because it's old, it's falling apart, it's not air conditioned. So for the last 15 years, we've been going back and forth. They tried to pass a bond issue right before the pandemic. It failed, and by a very slim margin. So people didn't want to pay for it. And the only reason that we are even getting a new building is because but the superintendent and the school district took the COVID money that was given and they put it towards this. So
I was wondering how this got paid for because South Dakota does not have an income tax.
No.
And
the bond issue was
you can't just put everything on the property owners.
No. And it's disappointing. And the previous superintendent really wanted this to happen. She sort of got run out of town. She was not very popular with some people and she ended up leaving. But before COVID, she was really pushing hard for that bond issue. And we may have got it back on the ballot and it may have passed. But COVID happened. They took that COVID money and they were like, we're doing this. And so
Joe happening. Joe Biden and the Vice President Kamala Harris paid for.
No, well, it might
was
have
actually probably Trump.
Really?
No, it wasn't.
Trump paid for it?
It was all Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
I'm going to give
2024.
I'm going to give him some not whatever. We got the money, and our previous superintendent, and the one we have now is fantastic as well. But the one we had before, she's no longer here. But she was like, "We're taking this money and we're going to get it done." And they passed it. They pushed it. They've been pushing it, and the community has been mostly supportive. I know it's hard for people that live in that neighborhood because the construction has been going on, and the construction is very close to people's residence. And I know that's been hard. And I talked a little bit with the construction people about what that was like for them. And they said mostly everybody's good. They have had a few people complaining about noise, and I totally get that. But
I'm just going to say that some of the things they're doing for this school are really, really cool. I mean, they're like, because there's basically they're building on a swamp. Now we're getting into the the construction.
To talk about the actual building of the new building.
Dustin, Peyton, and Jade, you can start now.
Oh, okay.
Hi, this is Phil Hunter with Time to Lean, and here's a song with my friend John.
Hi, I'm my friend John.
I'm my friend Phil.
We're here at the South Middle School construction site.
Formerly the South Junior High that should have been demolished site.
Yes.
Which is being demolished slowly. They're building around it. It's sort of like the Taco John's. They build one next to it, then tear down the other.
Exactly. No, that's the Rapid City way.
This is going to be huge. We'll have to go back and evidently we're going to get a tour, and they're excited to have it on the podcast. Want to get the word out about Skull Construction Services.
Yeah.
And this is also brought to you by Fearless Furniture, Steve,
Jim, Bob.
It is kind of noisy. We should have turned it on inside.
So we're here with South Junior High alum Rob K. and Phil
and Elizabeth Knowles.
Hunter and Elizabeth K.
Okay, sorry. Phil H.
and occasional teacher Bruce K.
Occasional. Bruce K. was the orchestra teacher here at South for 95 years, from 1905 to 2011.
2010 and
a half. And he taught horse taming.
That is not accurate in any way.
Because that's why they call them the Mustang. Oh, that's the Wilson.
Critical race
the Rebels.
And critical race theory.
Oh, yes, we were the
Horse
Rebels.
wrangling and
were they
critical
still the
race
Rebels?
theory. And mortuary science.
Yeah.
Weren't they still the Rebels?
We're still the rebels.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're like Confederates, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're Confederates. The mascot was Confederate.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Had like a.
That's different.
Evolved
That's
slightly.
I
Still
think does it have the stars and bars anymore, or does it still?
I don't even know. We'll have to.
I think they kind of were ahead of their time, really.
They were, yeah.
Well, we'll pick this up later. We have some business to attend to.
Yeah.
At this point, they all went on a tour of the construction site, which wasn't recorded. Probably should have been. It was a wonderfully informative tour. And this place is massive. I've heard it's 2 stories. It's got a concrete roof because someday they built it so it could have a 3rd story added someday.
So, but they're building basically on a swamp. So there's 36, I think, if I remember correctly, pylons or some kind of thing that go. No, wait, maybe they go 36 feet down. I'm not good with numbers, but anyway, there's a certain number of things that go a certain number of feet down, and they have to go way down to the bedrock because it's on a swamp. So they figured that out. Also, they got 138 hydro. I can't remember the word. Geothermal. Thank you.
So, and I'm not sure if I didn't ask him. I should have. I'm assuming that it's not because there's hot, actual volcanic activity under.
No, you don't need that because
it's just because of the pressure, right? It's
the heat. The heat differential is so different, or something.
Yeah.
When you get down below there, so they got 148 of these geothermal. Thank you, Rob. Things that go down, and basically it recirculates the water. I'm guessing. I don't know. We should have recorded when we were doing the tour.
Oh,
We should have
when
just
they
recorded
explained it?
that. No, that would have been so much simpler.
Hey
But
guys, so I went on another tour. I just want to say this. I went on another tour and tried to get a little bit more information, and they would not let me take any pictures or do any recording. So,
maybe we wouldn't have been able to.
well, what we got when we went, John and Rob and Phil, that was unique, and apparently they don't do that. So I was like, can I take pictures and do some recording? They're like, no.
I think maybe we
Wow.
would have got it. I think John and I could have or all of us could have got away with it then. But anyway, instead of me explaining what they said, that would have been better to have the original. It was a wonderful tour. But anyway, they got these pylons or whatever. It's not going to sink. And it's like 2 stories high. It's massive. It's really, really well thought out. They've got skylights, so you get natural light in spaces you wouldn't expect. The window, I mean, I think they're going to get some pretty good energy ratings with this building, but they weren't out in Minnesota. That's a big deal. You know, if you're going to get a new building, what's your energy rating?
LEED certification. Yes.
Yeah.
They also, it's being constructed so that they can add a 3rd floor later, which I think is really smart.
I found that very interesting. And the guy was like, well, it probably won't be for 50 years, but so the roof is like concrete because they're going to get ready to build this other level someday.
I also heard one of them explain how the building cooling was going to happen with these massive things of ice that they would make in the nighttime hours when it's not hot out. And then they would use that to provide the chilled water for the AC system.
Yeah, I think they just open up the freezers in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. But no, they were very attentive to some sort of climate change friendly sort of things, which maybe they won't tout that out there. That's fine.
No, there's definitely some
political
sustainable things.
Sustainable, thank you. That's better.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this is huge though, this building. And then I was like, it's kind of in the shape of an F because they want the maximum windows
accessible. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, when I was a kid, windows were not a great thing because I have ADHD too. And I would just look out the window. But, it's in the shape of an F. And I was kind of like, I think you should make it in the shape of an A if this is academic. But I don't know. They got a little chuckle out of that. It's hard. It was a tough crowd. It was a really good tour, though.
Thank you to Skull Construction.
Dustin, Peyton, and Jade. SCULL. They're our sponsors tonight. And with Fearless Fisher, we're going to
also, if you like Time to Lean, check out another podcast called Sleep Baseball.
It's much better.
The narrator he does ads for that.
Yeah, he moonlights.
That's pretty cool.
The narrator of Sleep
Time to Lean. You'll interrupt me. Sure.
And now back to the show.
All right, I'm gonna look at some comments.
Let's get some more comments.
So while he looks for more comments, Elizabeth K. So when they tried to pass the bond, was it only the new South building that was on it, or was it a bunch of things from all over the district? The reason I ask is because it seems like it's tough to ask people in other parts of town to pay for a new South. I mean, I think people should, of course, but were they strategic about that?
Elizabeth had to step away.
She can't come to the phone right now.
Okay.
She's had to hit the cam.
What? She had hip cam?
Hit the cam.
She hit the can.
Oh.
All right.
Hi, Jen. What was your favorite experience at South Junior High or middle school?
Oh, I don't.
Did you have one? What was your worst one?
I have to say the best thing for me is that I only spent 2 years there.
Oh, you're so
Because
lucky.
I know.
Was it during the transition?
Yeah, because I was sixth grade. I was in elementary school, and then I went to South as a seventh grader. And the first year
Wow,
that they
you
did
were
middle
lucky.
school, so I didn't even have to be the lowest on the totem pole there, so that was good. Well, I had a least favorite teacher.
Ooh. Use initials only.
His name was Mr. S. He was a math teacher.
Mr. S.
And
So it
every
wasn't
time-
Mr. K.
No, Mr. S. Every time he would hand out my tests, he would say, Jennifer Knowles, nothing.
Jeez. Now, I think I remember him.
That-
For real?
That's a great one.
Nothing? Like 0 points?
No, like she knows nothing.
Ouch. Oh, no. Oh, sorry.
Ah.
Ouch. I'm going to talk about Jeannie again. DH.
Hi, boss. Be nice.
I really loved all my teachers, but Jerry Bustler was my all-time favorite teacher.
She loved all of her teachers. Jeannie, come on.
I think she's trying to be positive because she still works with some of them. Because they're like, they probably should retire. But anyway, he introduced me to coaching Special Olympics and several other sports. He is the most kind and caring person, and he always made time for his students. He pushed me to always do my best and to work harder than everybody else. Plus, he made school fun. There you go. I don't remember.
That's very positive.
No, I was trying to get, some positive things here because I didn't think any of us would have any. But
Hey, Phil.
yeah, hi.
Can I ask you,
I need more
did
ice.
people share negative stuff?
Haven't we already?
I mean,
I worked some of that in. Okay, here's one.
besides
And I
the
don't.
battle that people seem to weirdly kind of like.
Here's I won't say the name, but some friends wrote a suicidal note and signed my name, and I was put in Regional West, and being in special ed, and being put in the little rooms for hours. Yeah. What are the
Damn.
little rooms? Is that the annex?
I don't know. It sounds worse than the annex. It sounds like some sort of little
The boiler room?
like holding room or something.
Oh,
The
Jesus.
orchestra practice rooms.
Her friends did that.
Well, they wrote a suicide note in his or her name and
Yeah. Or in their name.
in their name.
Wow.
That's bad. I mean, junior high / middle school kids can be super mean.
So this was in the 90s, and I don't think that was a thing when we were kids. We had to get the paddle and that kind of thing, but I don't.
You have the paddle for.
I had bullies. I mean, Casey N. He decided he wanted to fight me one day, and I was walking down the alleys, and I'm like, I'm not going to fight you because I was going to be a pastor and turn the other cheek and that kind of thing, and he probably would still beat me anyway. But so I'm, walking down this alley, and this whole group of kids, surrounding us, and nothing was happening because he was like walking backwards in front of me, like, come on, trying to egg me on to do something. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to hit you. And finally he hit me. And this was like after 3 blocks, it seemed like 12 hours, but it was only probably a few minutes. And on my nose, I was a good bleeder. My nose was just bleeding and it was copious amounts of, it was a Stanley Kubrick amounts. So it was a wall of blood coming from my nose. And I think he was a little scared. I looked at him, and I was just looking right in the eyes, like, yeah, I'm fucking bleeding because of you, dude. And I didn't say that, but and some of the kids were like getting kind of scared or whatever. And then Annie Talent, which is now South Park, they had to change the name because Annie Talent was she didn't say great things about the Native Americans, but or the way she the words she used. I'll word this better later. But to choose it to South Park, it seems kind of strange. But I ducked in there, and my old, the old secretary, I don't remember her name. I wish I did. She was a wonderful lady. She, she took care of me, and we waited a while before I could go home. But years later, I was in a dorm room with my roommate Lee Howard, and I was telling the story, and Lee H, friend of the show, he's like, "I was in that crowd." So I probably told the story before on here, but that was weird.
Yeah, he said you were. When he told the story to me, he said you were like Christ.
Christ.
To bring
Like
us
Christ.
all the way around.
In your.
I was trying to be, I guess. I was going to be a pastor, and that's what you did. I don't know. But a little bit after that, Carl R., who was a Golden Gloves boxer, he decided, and I don't know if it was related to what happened to me or not, but he decided to fight Casey Neprud. Oh, yeah, Casey N. And isn't it funny how I remember those names and I can't remember what I had for lunch? But it was in the street. This whole street was blocked. This is the big deal. Carl R. and Casey N. are going to fight. He was a redheaded Irish guy, angry. I don't know. But, man, I watched a little bit of it, but I just went home because it was just so brutal. I don't know.
So it didn't go well for Casey.
I don't think so.
Did you ever talk to him again after that?
No, but I thought Carl R. shows up on my Facebook feed sometimes as a suggest a friend thing. And I'm always half tempted to reach out to him and say, hey, that was weird.
So I know that I kind of made you guys do this reminiscing about your junior high time. Has it been traumatic for you to revisit, or are there some good things coming back to you? I appreciate what you've done, but also as a middle school teacher of children that age, it's always good to know what makes an impact for somebody forever. Good or bad, I guess. I know it's all pretty much bad. Maybe how about less bad, less terrible?
But thankfully for teachers like you, I mean, I know, I'm sure, I never had you as a teacher, but I'm sure that you're, there's little glimmers that you get from teachers that it'll be better, just hang on, keep holding on, it'll be better. But,
yeah. And I think, from what Jeannie was saying and some others, one good teacher at least can make a huge difference for kids that age. Even if it's otherwise pretty awful experience for you, like having a teacher who cares, who's not, I think trying to humiliate kids is not good. A kid at that age, like being humiliated is not gonna,
or any age,
or any person at any age.
Hey, let's stop humiliating people, folks.
But like treating you like you're serious, and taking you seriously and being compassionate. Those seem like the most important things, just based on what people have said.
No, I mean another teacher or another commenter talked about, it was during 9/11, and the teacher, who may have been Mr. Gross, I'm not sure. My notes are not very good. I tried, but during 9/11, brought I suppose a TV cart in or something. But but basically help the kids kind of, I don't want to say understand, but made the kids feel better about what was going on. I mean, the shit was going down and whatever. I don't know. Teachers can make a big difference one way or the other. You know, I guess that's the main thing. But especially during middle school or junior high or wherever you are at right now. But
I think at that
man,
age, because especially
especially
because you're separating from you're doing your individuation thing, separating from your parents, but you haven't reached the confidence that you usually get by high school, or at least the end of high school, and so you're in this pretty bad place, you know. So that's where it makes the most difference, I think. I mean, um,
so they should get paid the most too, like
they should get paid
Elizabeth
the
and
most. I do want to a quick shout out to one teacher that I didn't have at South, but was there, but was also a friend, you know, family friend, was Annie Knutson, and she was teaching home ec, I think. And when I came in as a seventh grader, you know, it was pretty tough. Like I was being bullied by Mike, and but you know, it was just overwhelming for the reasons I've talked about already. And I just walked by her classroom, and I don't think I even realized that she taught there. And she said hi to me, and she said, "Come in for a minute." And I talked to her, and I just felt so much better. I just felt instantly, you know, I think things are going to be okay. So shout out to her.
now. So I remember a school counselor I talked to, and I don't remember her name. I wish I did, but um, I was really worried about Jim because of previous bullying experiences. But she figured out a way where I didn't have to go to gym throughout all of junior high. So whoever she is, God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you. Oh yeah, the locker room. That was tough. I mean,
I didn't have to do any of that.
yeah, you know, I think the locker room was okay, but I mean, not for everybody. I'm sure it wasn't. So
What was the female experience with the locker room, Elizabeth and Jan? I don't know.
I don't actually remember.
None of us showered or anything like that, so
We weren't into showering.
yeah.
Well, I don't. Yeah.
I don't actually remember even taking gym, and
I do, but it wasn't a big deal.
I wasn't going to do that.
sorry,
I had to take.
I wish I had a better story about that, but I don't
No,
remember.
I don't need to hear your stories about showering.
I don't remember any teasing.
I
in the
don't think there
locker
was
room
any
or
showering anyway, so there couldn't have been any teasing.
anything. No, I take that back.
We just didn't shower.
There was one girl that showered.
And she showered for like,
Yeah,
like
no,
45
she
minutes.
was
It was a
very
little awkward.
She was very confident.
That was
But-
not us.
No, she was the only one because they gave us a choice.
Wow. Now,
Did the boys have to shower? Was that required?
no, we had a choice too, but it was just the fact that we had to change for PE was so weird and awkward.
So I have to tell you though, because they're building the new building right now while we're still in school. So they've torn down the old gym where the PE people and all the sports teams are using the community center, which is right next to the school. So they no longer have any locker rooms. So yesterday at our meeting, the PE teachers asked us teachers if the football team would be willing to, or if we would be willing to let the football team store their stinky sports equipment in our classrooms because they have no locker rooms. And
You said,
I
"Of course."
said, hell yeah. Bring it on. I'll take all the smelly sports equipment. I don't care. I'm just
so
happy
that's
we're
the
getting
orchestra room is going to have. That seems like a weird juxtaposition.
No, I mean we're very far away. They may not choose the orchestra room as a place to store, but I am just so happy that we're getting a new building that I'm just like, hell yeah, I'll deal with anything for 9 months.
Yeah.
I'll deal with all of the sweaty sports equipment.
As
Whatever.
long as they're not showering in the orchestra room. I mean, I guess.
You're
That's
a
weird.
good
We can hose them
sport.
down.
They did have a shower in the orchestra room in my day, and that was really awkward because
Really
my brother
cold
was the
water.
orchestra teacher.
You had like a really cold water asbestos spray.
Hey,
But
Yeah,
whatever.
you were
Whatever.
fireproof for years.
there's asbestos encapsulated in the band and orchestra room.
Yeah.
It's
See,
south, so in the old
Hey.
south,
It's fine. Everything is fine.
it's encapsulated.
Yep.
yeah, because we joked with Dustin, Peyton, and Jade about we wanted to, like, in the old days or in the cartoons, you had this plunger. We thought, oh, we want to blow up the old building. I would love to blow up south, but no, asbestos. Ugh.
Yeah,
it's no
they
fun.
sucked all the fun out of tearing buildings down. No more fun.
No, I didn't do gym until high school, and then that was. I think we had to take a shower. I could be wrong, but there was the teachers had a window into the locker room. That was weird. I don't know. I'm just coming up with all the weird things tonight. I was a weird kid, so I thought, why do they have a window? I think another kid would be like, I'm just going to school and I'm going to take a shower and I'm going to go to math class. But I'm like, what? Why can't I see the teachers? That's weird. I don't
If
know.
you'd been more confident, Phil,
I would have
shower
started
confidently.
No, I showered. I didn't shower confidently. I think that's interesting that the women had this, or girls had the same. I don't want to get into that right now, but I am curious why. Because guys, our organs are external, so we're like, I don't know.
As I heard somebody refer to it as indoor and outdoor plumbing. Well, Phil, do you have any more comments, or shall we wrap this up?
This will take some editing, won't
We're
it?
just getting started. This is
Wait a minute, because Megan K just walked in the door.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Well,
Is she there?
Yes, she's here. So
Okay, I'm going to get some more ice because I need more whiskey from Megan.
Jesus.
so.
guess what Megan walked in the door with?
What, ice?
Taco John's.
Oh, Taco John's.
We managed
Megan-
to tie in Taco John's.
Not
to
I'm
this
so
one.
jealous. They
You
should
gotta
sponsor
ask
us.
Megan not what she's drinking, but what is she eating? Megan, what are you eating right now?
I need more ice.
Tacos.
You gotta come closer.
Say Taco Bravo. What'd you
Well,
say?
I know she's got a big soda of some description, but she's walking over here to get closer. She's going to tell you all about what she's eating.
Get a little closer.
And I will get some ice.
Taco.
Soft shell
Phil, you can just go
tacos.
get ice. You don't have to keep saying that.
You better say that again, Megan.
Soft shell tacos.
That's the fancy version of a soft shell taco.
Oh,
Yeah.
and potato olays.
How did you know?
Well, you almost have to get them.
And then you inevitably regret getting them.
What are you eating?
Am I wrong?
Hi, yeah, maybe. I guess I don't.
Well, you don't at first, but
You do. Inevitably, you do. I didn't need to eat all those potato
a
olays.
few hours later,
What genius.
Well,
So-
Jen and I just ate Olive Garden.
Mm.
It was very good. So, Megan, do you have some questions? Is Phil gone getting ice, or is he?
Yeah,
Come
he's
on.
getting
Yeah, he's
ice. So, Megan, do you have any South Junior High stories you want to share?
Do you have a favorite teacher or a?
Mrs. Mudge.
We were just talking about her.
She taught us how to diagram sentences, and my English grammar is so good because of Mrs. Mudge.
Patty Mudge. Yeah.
She was amazing. Actually, recently I've been kind of having a sad memory of South Junior High because we had a local teenager who was killed in an accident where she fell off the top of a truck, doing this car surfing thing that's apparently hitting Rapid City now as this trend. And there was a kid in ninth grade when I was in seventh grade who he played bass. His name was David. Can't remember his last name, but he fell out of the back of a truck.
Yeah, I remember that too.
And
I'm
hit his
back.
head and became an organ donor. And there was a music scholarship named after him for a long time. David, I want to say Groth or something like that.
I can't remember.
He would probably remember. Do you remember, Rob?
I don't remember his name, but I do remember him. Yeah, because he overlapped with me for at least a couple of years, I think.
What did I walk into?
So this has become a new thing, Megan, with
car surfing. Yeah,
car surfing is
teenagers
back.
are like
What?
Teen Wolf.
This
Teen Wolf.
kid at South wasn't doing that, but he was standing up in the back of a truck bed. And this was when it was like obviously ninth graders, so there were people driving to South, and his friend was driving, and he went over a curb, and that's all it took. This kid went flying out. So
Oh, Jesus.
I've been thinking about that recently because of that.
Wow. Well, your daughter hit a deer recently, so that's exciting.
Teenagers are always getting into accidents, and husbands apparently.
Yeah, well.
And
So, Megan, do you have if you didn't talk about this already, we'll do some editing, but do you have a favorite or least favorite memory of Taco John's?
Megan did
South.
She did just mention a teacher while you were gone.
Okay.
pretty much.
But
An English teacher. The English teachers were excellent at South.
And
I think so, except for
Jen has
Mrs.
to
Ann.
as well,
Mm.
Patty Mudge. So if she might be listening. I know Patty Mudge is still around. I think she came up to watch the Chuck Wagon show recently. So a big shout out to Patty Mudge, apparently.
Mrs. Brewick.
Shout out.
So awesome.
A big shout out to Bruce K, my orchestra teacher, who threw me up against the locker. Speaking of,
We'll put some
Corporal
pictures on the
punishment.
page.
we're going to have a special segment about that.
No,
Okay.
no. So no, really though. What is it? I talked to. I couldn't get her on in time, but I forgot her name. Knudsen.
Annie? Christy?
No. Christy Knudsen. I talked to Christy Knudsen about being on at the last minute because I was like, oh, I want to talk about, maybe this is a different episode, but being taught by parents or family. I mean, that's kind of weird.
I think it's another episode. I think
Yeah.
it's,
Okay, you're right.
Well, I think that's a great idea, actually.
And
Yeah.
also, we're already in
Both her
way
parents were
long.
teachers.
we can save this story. We can save that for that
It's a
episode.
great idea.
I'll try to get them on later. So, what are you eating, Megan? Did you already talk about that?
We already talked about that, Phil.
God damn
Soft
it.
tacos and Olays.
Tacos
from Taco John's.
and
I had to get ice.
Taco.
the inevitably regrettable potato Olays.
Olays.
No.
No, stop trying to force feed me potato Olays, Megan.
I want some right now. Why can't I have some
When
Olays?
John and I were at the U many years ago, I mean, I still am, but at the Dinky Dome, there was a Taco John's, and they would reheat those things. They'd put them in for second or third times, and they were not good, but we still ate them. What's the problem? You kids today.
What?
It's today.
What's the
Hey,
question?
Jen, are you still there?
Jen, come back. No, she ran away.
Jen, what are you drinking?
Jen is drinking. Now she's drinking a High Noon lemon flavored.
Mom drink?
No more mom water. No, she's a High Nooner.
There's a thing called mom water. That's wonderful.
What should the song for this episode be called?
Elizabeth says she's going to write the song for
So what I've done is my friend Michael J.
She knows musicians out there.
So I sent him the lyrics to the South Middle School song, and I said, "Come," because he doesn't know that it's the K-Son song. So I said, I just sent him the lyrics, and I said, "Can you come up with something to these lyrics, completely original, And
That's
then
great.
I'm going to get together with him, and he's a guitar player, a much better songwriter than I could be. So
Probably a
see
better
what-
guitar player than I am.
yeah, I'm just excited for him to not knowing what the school song, like not knowing the original tune. to
This
see
is
what
really
he comes
fun.
up with.
This is great.
So he's
Thank
going to come
you.
up with something, and then I'm going to get together with him, and we're going to add. So this episode may have to be delayed just a little bit, but it would be nice to
Oh,
compilate.
that never
anyway,
happens.
Because
So
if I
give it-
remember the lyrics to the fight song, it's like, or it's like, the South will rise again, you Yankee scum. Confederacy is coming back.
That's absolutely.
Why is that our song?
Then Yank can go and hang himself.
No, that is 100% incorrect.
Oh, it should have been though.
Stonewall,
Not accurate
Blackburn.
at all. Yes, we are
Goldwater.
we are the South Rebels, but there's yes. So
Barry
we'll see.
Goldwater's in there.
Barry Goldwater is our king.
Oh,
You're
I've
getting
complained a
canceled
lot
for
in
this,
this
right?
episode.
Aren't
It's
you
because I'm
complaining?
wearing pants.
Oh,
I don't
think-
have Taco John's and I'm wearing pants. I
Phil, I
apologize.
was worried about you going into this episode
Yeah.
because I know that you had some
Lori Baker's.
tough times, and there would be some reminders. So I'm glad that you're okay.
I don't know if it's cathartic. I don't think so, but fine.
Megan, what would you like to say?
What was your? Are you there?
She's here. She's
We
just
can edit
relaxed.
this in earlier.
She's drinking her mom water and
I thought there
Oh,
weren't
this
any more
mom
mom
water.
waters.
I want a mom water.
sorry, it's not a mom water.
I once had a mom water.
What's a dad water then?
Oh, that's
Everything
bourbon.
else?
This is
I don't
bourbon.
want to drink that.
It's piss.
Where are the acoustics good?
Right here.
The orchestra room. We're going to record right here. We are recording.
The asbestos is a good dampener. That's true.
Yeah.
Probably have to
I think
record
you
some
should
more
go
later
record in
too.
front of the locker that Bruce physically assaulted his brother.
Yeah, that's right. Push it right in there.
What episode did we talk
Except the
about
door
that
is
on?
shut.
Well, 86.
Was it 86?
No, we talked about it with Bruce.
I just edited that.
You don't remember it already.
It's really awkward because
Is that the new one?
The one we just put out, yeah.
I thought it was an earlier one.
Is it out already?
They're blending
Yeah.
together in my mind.
yeah,
I thought it was when you were at a guest before, or Rob talked.
Well, maybe we repeated it.
Oh, well.
repeated the
We
story.
repeated that story.
Oh,
Well, now
But,
it has
oh, every
even
time
more
Bruce is on,
context.
we have to tell that story.
You know, Harrison used to repeat himself all the time. In
See.
his monologue, he would just tell the same story over and over.
Nobody cared.
I think you guys should reenact it over there, like with some.
we did.
Audio.
No,
did.
but with some
We took a
audio
photo.
for the podcast.
Oh, okay.
So what did you
Yeah, so when, oh yeah.
you little
All right.
fucker?
No, it went something like this.
Let's just pretend this is the same locker.
No, okay, here goes.
And remember, this is audio. We don't have any.
Okay,
We got our
Here,
explicit
Rob.
rating again.
why don't you see what it feels like to be in a locker?
I don't want to.
Oh, the door is shut.
End scene.
Here's the song!
Up or down, we are bound to be the best school around. this fight.